All right, hey guys, welcome back. So we still in the same airplane. We started off yesterday, departing Seattle Tacoma, and it got dark pretty soon after, and we've been flying in the dark ever since. Obviously, I'm not insane, so I haven't actually been sat here for as long as this has been going on. But we've been flying for close to 12 hours now, and we're approaching our destination, Taipei, Taoyuan. And we're about to start our descent. So you're joining me now for sort of the descent planning and preparation stage of the flight. And then we'll commence our descent next into Taipei, Taoyuan. Aircraft has been okay. It's been nice and smooth throughout the evening. So there's really nothing to, um, there really wasn't anything that we need to talk about, anything that we need to address as far as the progress of the flight goes. So let's just jump right into it. Still using BeyondATC. It kicked out a couple times. It's had some difficulty, but at the moment we're with Kobe control, which I don't think really exists. I think it's called Fukuoka. But nevertheless, we're gonna get into planning for the arrival. I'll bring you up to Navigraph and SimBrief. There we go. Um, that's the final stretch very soon. I think this is actually called Fukuoka, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, but whatever reason they call it Kobe control. And very soon we'll switch over to Taipei position Pulan, just about 50 and a little bit. I'm gonna go about 100 miles away, which is not a lot of time. Ideally, I'd like to have everything sorted out and ready for the arrival into Taipei. Um, got rated last night during my stream and got some pretty good feedback from folks that were watching. So I'm gonna switch to VR just during the descent probably, or just shortly before. We're going to try and minimize the amount of time we spend in VR, just because it can get a little bit shaky and annoying, but it's still something that we're working on. Hopefully you're hopefully you're also able to hear the Beyond ATC in the background, because it obviously plays an important part of the whole route that we're using Beyond ATC today for our flight, just because we couldn't get enough ATSM coverage. Good. Let's take a look. I'd like to start off by seeing what the wind is like. So it's currently 060 at 17. Visibility is greater than 10 kilometers. View clouds 1500. Broken 35 13 06 25. All of this is just telling me the weather is fantastic. 060 at 17. I'm gonna say that's gonna be an arrival for runway 05. So Taipei Taoyuan's got two parallel runway 05 left, 05 right. And the way the wind's blowing, it's almost ahead onto 05 left. Sure, far right. So I'm assuming it's going to be one of those. Um, as to which side of the airport we're actually going to be on, I'm going to say we're going to end up at the Delta ramps. That's ideally where I'd like to be. Delta 7, Delta 1 on to Delta 18, because that's handled by China Airlines. So we are ideally going to also try land on runway 05 left. On runway 05 left, they've got an ILS up. Um, We'll get that prepared, and we'll also get the Drake arrival prepared. The Drake arrival is where we're coming in from, so takes you from Drake to Sepia, and then Auger, and I believe there's an H here at Auger, which is a holding pattern that's available should you need to be sequenced. These are limited to 5 nautical miles, so you're not actually going to go 1 minute out, or you might, I mean, depending on how slow you fly, but they're 5 mile legs, more like a racetrack, and it will continue the arrival by April, March, Fetus, and Jammy. And you'll see, of course, that all of them allow a turn in March, Fetus, and Jammy. What I am going to set up for is for the full arrival via Jammy, and then we'll go on to Karen, Ankle, and into land. Reason I do that is if I set up the full arrival, I'll also get what's coming out of March here, and should they turn us in early, I can just resequence the flight plan. So there's a couple speed restrictions here as well. Karen, 15 track miles. We need to be between 200 and 180. Okay, we'll sort that out. Ankle at 180, so 180 to 10. And then it's 160 to 5, which is pretty standard speed control. we'll be able to maintain. After landing, we're expecting to carry on straight on 5 left, expecting to exit. I think November 7 is accurate, and they will probably enter the ramp here via Papa 9 and use the apron to get onto apron Delta. Alternatively, they may turn us in on November, and then we'll carry on November for something else. So I think we'll plan to exit. I think November 7 is the best exit, halfway between the two. And we'll plan accordingly for November 7. Having a strong headwind is going to help us slow down pretty quickly as well. Very good. I think that's mostly the plan for the arrival. Now that it's considered, let's go ahead and put that into the aircraft. Taipei. We'll click on runway here, select 05 left, the arriving runway, and we're going to do ILS approaches onto this runway via, I believe we said it was Jammy, wasn't it? The star is going to be the Drake 1 Alpha arrival, ending out at Jammy. And let's take a look at how that looks on our flight plan. No discontinuities, Jammy to Karen and then ankle, which is what we had planned for. It's going to be a sharp turn. Let's see. I'm not really sure how we can step through waypoints, but yeah, that's sort of how we had briefed it would be. Good. So we can go ahead and execute that. Sorry, insert that on our flight plan. That obviously changes our descent points a little bit, perhaps. I mean, I assume it does. Let's see. Yeah, our top of descent is now early at 13:03. Now, or is it a bit late? I think it's a bit late. It's dropped the top of descent to just before Drake. We're about to enter the Taiwanese FIL. For the arrival, we had the weather. We'll use a config 3 landing. And let's go take a quick look once again at Navigraph and SimBriefed it. So it's going to tell us what the arrival minimum is going to be. So we're going to do a Cat 1 ILS approach. And on that front, it's going to be, for a category Delta aircraft, it's going to be 300 feet. Pretty simple. 300 feet. It's entered. Now I'm just waiting for the OAT and QNH and stuff. I've had it already from Navigraph, but I have forgotten. So let's go ahead and take the weather once again from Navi. 060 at 17, 13 and 1025. 060 at 17, 13 and 1025. This was 13. Done. I need to switch this into hectopascals because we're no longer in America and we're not free to do what we like to do. So that works out to a VRF of 132. So it's rather slow, and I think it'll be pretty simple for us to be able to. Airport nav not available, Navigraph. Which is a bit strange because if you watch the earlier stream, we definitely had Seattle. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah, I don't know what's going on in this situation. Let's go ahead and see if maybe it's something to do with our third-party options. It's downloaded. Yeah, we did this just before the flight. Okay, so I guess then we'll just taxi without the map. In that case, I think we're gonna have to go ahead and set the auto brakes. You know what? Auto brakes off. I'm auto myself. So auto brakes off. I was hoping to use brake to vacate. I quite like it. But we'll use auto brakes off, flaps 3, and idle reverse is more than sufficient. Once they're off the runway, 3-minute timer will shut down one of the engines, and we'll do single engine taxi in to the assigned gate, one of the deltas, hopefully. Let's see if I can't make this go back to dim. There we go. And that's the arrival brief for Taipei. I don't suppose anyone's got any questions. Um, Actually went by a bit quicker than I anticipated. So I'll take questions from the audience now if you've got any. Whoa. Okay, so just behind the MSFS screen is a menu that says that the application will now quit because my graphics card has encountered a problem. So we're not going to acknowledge that message, and hopefully it just keeps going until landing, because I haven't been online for about 12 hours just to not land yet. Good. While that's done, we'll also set up the arrival here on um, on the Lido charts because I'll be using this with no reference to since I want to have reference to the charts on the ND, the moving maps. We'll use Lido charts for navigation on the ground at least. So there might be some interesting tidbits hidden here from the AFC. Highest MSA is 9,000 around the field. You see, it's quite a bit of high terrain in and around this area. Yeah, so that's sorted out. We're gonna do an RNF star from the north. That's a Drake. Jammy holes everywhere, as you can see. And then we're turning in for the ILS approach runway 05 left. Good, everything is great. After which I need to set up the AGC and the APC for the rest of the landing. We'll also take a look at some of the NOTAMs. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't been very good at looking at the NOTAMs for this flight. So let's take a look. Seattle, Tacoma, I remember a few of them, they were all right. ILS 34 left, all that stuff. So Taipei, Taoyuan, Lima 1 is close to the work in progress. There's going to be some unmanned aircraft up to 2,300 feet somewhere else. Same 2,300 feet, 2,300 feet. They've got an addition of bird activity in the vicinity of the airport during 22 and 2200 to 2 midnight and 8 to 11 in the approach path of 5 left and 5 right. Up to 100 feet, birds from a kilo to 2 kilos. Chunky birds. But we are landing out of the scope of the bird times. 8 to 11 it says, and it's 12:45 at the moment. So yeah, the bird should be not so much of a factor. Luju district, okay, a lot of unmanned aircraft being released. So I'm assuming they probably little drones that people fly around, some of those balloons that they release for good luck. A380 aircraft shall follow. Yep. My dog wants attention. All right, guys, we're almost home. We're contacting Taipei now. All right, I'm just gonna shut that door real quick. It's not a great door, but yeah. So, there's no sort of nav note specifically, just just a just the warnings about the birds in and around the area. Okay, sorry, hold on again, guys. Didn't do that well. Doesn't actually help much. It's not actually soundproofed and stuff, but yeah. I think that's just the start of the city lights. Maybe is that Taipei, Taiwan already? I would. Yeah, I think that might be part of the lights in Taiwan. Maybe coming into view, or maybe not yet. It's still about 160 miles away. The next thing I'm looking for is on the AFC chart. I'm going to be looking for a maybe a view or something that is co-located at the field. Unfortunately, there's nothing here. The closest that gives me to where Taipei is, it's maybe about 15 miles. There's the Apu Fior Anbu, so it's 112.5, and we can find it as Apu. Where is it? Nav 8. APU. We'll do the same here. APU. The localizer 1111 on inbound course. Let me see if that's correct. 1111 and the inbound course 053. Sorry, 054 is what is here as well. 3-degree glide path. Very nice. All set up for the arrival. Do I have any questions for myself? No, I think we're well covered. I think it's gonna be fine. Let's go ahead and do the descent checklist. Oh, it's called the approach checklist. Okay, so we still got a long time to do checklists as well. No stress. Streaming in silence. It's quiet. Maybe we can get some music. We can get some music going. Now we gotta find a nice song. I like this song. And I gotta say that I quite like it lately, and I'm just looking at the artist. It's Oscar Medkay. He's apparently from Norway. Um, I do like his music. I find myself often listening to it even while I'm flying, especially at night. There's just something captivating about the songs. And I'm just now looking at some of his tour dates, which I think I'd like to go to. Paris on the 6th of March, Amsterdam on the 7th of March, Copenhagen on the 12th. And then there's a lot of them in the United States, which I won't be able to attend to anyway. And then finally, one place called Tønsberg, which I'm gonna assume is in Norway or maybe Sweden because it's got the little O with the weird thing on it. Let me see. Yeah, it's Norway's oldest town, known for Viking history, medieval fortress ruins. Okay, it looks cool. Yeah, I mean the fortress looks a bit underwhelming. So does the cathedral, but why not? Uh, we sorry, need to find a better way to stick this around. Okay, good. Why not? Can go see Oscar Medkay at in Oslo. I mean in Norway, right where he's from. All right, guys, I need to put you all on hold here for a sec. I need some air conditioning. I need some air because this hasn't really been working for the past couple of days. So I need to maybe wear something a little bit more breathable. Just give me a second. All right, folks. Thanks for waiting. A lot better now. We got actual sunlight, air conditioning's on. I'm wearing something a little bit more breathable. They say it's winter, but here in the UAE, we don't really. It's more of than an actual thing, I guess. So, um, quite warm here. And I don't mean to sound a racist, but that sorry, that Vietnam Airlines uh, sounded almost Indian to Beyond ATC, if I might say so myself. Another benefit of having sunlight, I'm still gonna go ahead and turn on that light, is because the VR headsets use the cameras to track my movement. So it's gonna be a little bit more accurate, hopefully. That's us for the arrival. Okay, so it's a Drake 1 Alpha arrival for us. A runway 5 left, which is good, which we can live with, can we not? It's what we planned for. Well, while we still got about 40 miles to go, I'll just have myself a nice cup of tea. Milk tea is something similar to what we, if you are familiar with the Middle East, we call this, it's not exactly karak, but it's something similar. It's just a vibe, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so we're soon there. Brief is done, everything's sorted out. Just enjoy the air traffic control, I guess.
Contact Taipei approach 125.1, Starwalker 861.
Okay, so to the Alpha Papa uniform, we know we've got about 18 miles to go, and that's located about 15 miles from the field. So we can add another 15. So that's mostly like 95 miles, followed by what we need to backtrack there and back. So it's about 10 miles out, 105, 115. So I think now will be a good time to actually start the descent and then get us switch over into VR as well. Let's go. Let's get the descent started. There we go. Press descent nav. 12 hours and 25 minutes after departure, we have commenced our descent. And you need to excuse me, folks. I need a second to transfer all the volume stuff and the sound settings over to Pimax so that we can hear everything appropriately. So output. There's some additional settings that I need to sort out. Okay, I'll see you guys on the other side.
Envin 2 Alpha, runway 05, ready for descent.
All right, folks. So now we're sat in the correct seat. Excuse me. I'm just gonna have to arrange myself on my actual physical seat, and we are not yet ready. Hold on a second. Oh shit. I seem to be fidgeting a bit too much. Excuse me, folks. All right, I promise you this is it. This is the seating position, and I'm not gonna change from it. And let's just get that. Fantastic. All right, let's get these panels. Let's get this guy out of the way. I can actually see a stream of traffic going in towards Taipei. I don't know if you guys can notice that. And we'll go back to the night mode charts, commencing with the RNAV arrival at Drake.
Taipei Control, EVA 101. Good evening, flight level 340. EVA 101, Taipei Control identified.
All right, let's accelerate this descent. Let's go thrust idle, open descent.
Center 120.5, Silent Air 840.
On box 2, I think it'd be wise to listen very quickly to what the ATIS says.
Ceiling 3,500 broken, 5000 broken, temperature 13, dew point 06, QNH 1025, landing runway 05 left, departing runway 05 right, transition level 130, advise on initial contact you have information uniform. Taoyuan Airport information uniform, 1217 Zulu.
Alright, we're clear to descend to level 150. Let's keep that open descent going. We had information uniform. It was a bit loud, wasn't it? How do I now adjust that? Alright, no worries. Apologize. It's a one-time thing. I mean, who even listens to the ATIS these days anyways, right? I mean, if you don't have digital ATIS, are you even a real airport? Ooh, what are these lights? Oh, very nice. The console lighting, I like that. Map lighting, I like that too. But I'll just keep that small bit there. I'll turn that off, and we're below level 290. So I have a little bit of fun with some manual flying. What are we going to transition onto our speed? 316 knots, 316. So we've just about transitioned to an indicated airspeed now. We're using open descent because I know the airport to be right there where the lights are. So it seems I might have made some kind of mistake with my descent planning. Because I like to beam the airfield at about 10,000 feet. That gives me a good reference point, and that's going to work out correctly because we see 15,000 just short of the airfield. That's what the blue arrow there oopsie, that's what the blue arrow there means, if you can see it. That, yeah. And just beyond that, it's obviously going to be 10,000, and we're also going to use that moment to decelerate to get ourselves ready for the arrival. Little tidbit, this island used to be called Formosa. I don't know who used to call it that, but I want to say it was the Portuguese. They have a way of naming things, don't they? Formosa. I also think Taipei means North Capital. Got a few more cities there. They got Tainan and Taichung, which I think that Thai part of it specifically refers to capital. Taipei, and then you have Beijing, which is in PRC, which also means Northern Capital, if I'm not mistaken. There you go, there's some guy departing, I guess from somewhere in Taiwan. Missed that turn.
Dynasty 920, contact Taipei Control 123.4.
Because it's a full flight of folks, we're going to give them the seatbelts at 20,000 feet.
Dynasty 920.
Alright, we're through 20,000 feet. The seatbelt signs can go on. I'd say no smoking, no PEDs. And mobiles can just go on auto. Same with no PEDs, to be honest. I don't understand the fuss. Maybe it was a bit of fuss when we were leaving the United States because they've got the whole 5G interference thing going on. But I guess here it's not too much of a big deal. Well, the island's absolutely covered in cloud. Can't really see anything. You can just about make out the airport lights there if you look at the intersection of the glare sheet panel and the right there is the airport lights. You can see the two parallel runways. So based on my quick math, I'm slightly high at this point, but we've got time to make up for it.
Dynasty 21 heavy, descend to 7,000 feet, QNH 1025.
Okay, we're going down to 7,000 feet.
QNH 1025, Dynasty 21 heavy.
7,000 set. Well, we're a little bit too high if we're going to do the 2-3 left, 2-3 right arrival. If I was offered a base turn here, I wouldn't take it, obviously. But I think we might still be okay for runway 05s without needing the speed brakes. Because I think I'm going to get the turn around March. I'll be at 7,000 feet at March. And then we'll turn into Ankole. Yeah, should work out, provided I can get the speed down soon. There's the airport. We're through the transition level, altimeter 1025. And I need my colleague to set it as well, please. 1025, my friend. One 1025. Alright, this is the part where it can get exciting as we decelerate. It's also close to 10,000. Let's get the landing lights on. Can get the logos on as well. And as you can see, she's not quite willing to decelerate appropriately. So for this we need a touch of speed brakes. While we're also abeam, I think it's a wise time for me to go ahead and activate the approach mode.
Dynasty 2-1 heavy, contact Taipei approach.
Speed limit exceeded, yeah, makes sense. I think I'll slow down to about 230 knots.
Contact Taipei approach 125.1, Dynasty 2-1 heavy. Taipei approach, Dynasty 2-1 heavy. Good evening, 9,600 feet with information uniform.
Dynasty 2-1 heavy Taipei approach, QNH 1025, expect the ILS runway 05 left with the jammy transition.
QNH 1025, expect the ILS runway 05 left with the jammy transition.
Okay, 05 left with the jammy transition is a long way to go. So,
Dynasty 2-1 heavy, descend to 4,000 feet.
Descend to 4,000 feet, Dynasty 2-1 heavy.
so MCP speed VS 500 foot per minute. Yeah, because the jammy transition's a long way down, but at least we're in a position to take a shortcut if one is offered and available. Quite a bit of turbulence, so you can see the speed prediction going rocketing up and down. In the meantime, let's go ahead and do the approach checklist. Barrel ref, it's both on QNH 1025. Minimums is set to 300. Runway condition is dry runway, it's set outer brakes are off. Approach checklist complete.
Skywalker 746, Taipei approach, QNH 1025, expect the ILS runway 05 left with the jammy transition.
QNH 1025, expect the ILS runway 05 left with the jammy transition. Skywalker 746.
Skywalker 746, cleared direct jammy, cross jammy at or above 4,000 feet. Cleared ILS runway 05 left.
Cleared direct jammy, cross jammy at or above 4,000 feet. Cleared ILS.
Since we're on the start, the jammy arrival,
Skywalker 746.
we're gonna do a fly past of jammy as we turn into Karen. That's the plan.
Taipei approach, Dynasty 50 for heavy. Good evening, 500 feet.
And Karen requires us above 4,000, about 2,500.
Continue.
Actually about 4,000 as well, Karen, so...
Continue, Dynasty 50 for heavy.
Oh, unfortunate. I really thought I was going to swoop in for a nice, pleasant arrival. Alright, let's go ahead and get our localizer scales active. If you guys are writing to me on Twitch, I do not know about it because I'm in VR. I don't have a plugin installed yet to be able to read your chats. Don't have open iniBuilds or any of that, not yet. But hopefully soon. I'll try to do so for a stream on Saturday or Sunday. We'll try to get FS iniBuilds or something along those lines to sorry, the iniBuilds for OpenXR, just so I can see the chats as they go along as well.
Dynasty 2-1 heavy, clear direct jammy, cross jammy at or above left.
Cleared direct jammy, cross jammy at or above 4,000 feet.
Starwalker 839, contact Taipei Tower 118.7.
Oh, she cut me off.
Over to Tower 118.7, Starwalker 839.
Somebody's en route to us as well from up there.
All aircraft be advised information, Victor now current, QNH 1025.
Okay, still altimeter 1025 is set. Here we go, here's a turn at jammy.
Dynasty 504 heavy, turn left, heading 330.
Turn left, heading 330, Dynasty 504 heavy.
Alright, open descent. We need to be 200 knots at Karen, so we'll go ahead and set 200 here. They'll tighten the turn nicely as well. In all fairness, I'm just going to roll out on this heading and track direct to Karen this way. Let's go back on MCP speed maybe, or we'll just try to keep. Yeah, I think we'll go back on vertical speed here, and give ourselves 500 foot per minute descent. Nice and gentle. Keep it going. We'll also arm the approach mode because we're now clear for the approach.
Dynasty 504 heavy, turn left, heading 230. Expect further clearance in about 27 miles.
Turn left, heading 230, Dynasty 50 for heavy.
A Lockstar. Let's get the first notch of flaps in, flaps 1. Alright, we crossed Karen at 4,000, next is 2.5. Which is set, and speed restriction of 180 to 10. We can go ahead and set 180 knots here. Glass slopes captured. Missed approach altitude is 3,000 feet on the go around to Sedum. 3,000 is set. Established ILS 05 left, Dynasty 21 heavy. Something tells me my landing clearance is going to show up late. Let's go ahead and set speed 160, which will maintain to 5 miles. Flaps 2 to assist.
Dynasty 21 Heavy, contact Taipei Tower 118.7. Have a good evening.
Over to
Speed 160 set.
Taipei Tower, Dynasty 21 Heavy, ILS runway 05 left.
Dynasty 21 Heavy, Taipei Tower, wind 060 at 16, runway 05 left, clear to land.
Checked.
Runway 05 left, clear to land.
Can't seem to get a handle on the
Dynasty
speed,
21
so let's drop the gear. And we can set flaps 3 as well, which is our landing flaps. Landing checklist complete. Checked. I have a good feeling about this one. Let's record it. I'll send you along with the camera to the Shadow Realm. Okay, approaching 5 miles. Five miles. Back to managed speed.
Star Walker 746, ILS runway 05 left.
Star Walker 746, Taipei Tower, continue.
Straight headwind about 20 something knots at the moment.
Star Walker 746.
Checked. At this point, I'd like the aircraft to give me a little bit more power, which is a bit slow in responding. We had about 33% in one. Almost idle, which is not, at least for me, not ideal in a situation with a lot of headwind. See, she's going back to 28.5. She's going back to almost idle consistently. There you go. That's the reason why you want to have a little bit of additional fuel. Oh, sorry, additional speed. Just so when you get things like that, like we don't go into the amber band and you know, fall out the sky. You see? That's almost wind shear territory, but not quite, because the trend is quite powerful, let's say, but for the most part the plane itself is behaving normally. Okay, we're getting a little bit high on the glide, just not dive for it. That's it. We'll go for visual aiming point technique from here. Oh, we're getting tossed around. Disregard. Momentary, that's okay. Fix it in one go. As long as it's not downdraft, here we are.
50, 40, 30, 20,
Manual braking. Speed brakes up, reverses are normal. And what did I tell you? Through 60 knots, we didn't die.
Dynasty 21 Heavy, exit right at November 7.
Exit right at November 7, Dynasty 21 Heavy.
I don't know if this is November 7, but we're gonna exit right here. It makes the most sense to me. $12 and 53 minutes of flight time.
Star Walker 746, wind 060 at 16, runway 05 left, clear to land.
Runway 05 left, clear to land. Star Walker 746.
Dynasty 21 Heavy, contact ground 121.6.
Ground 1.
Let's see. Gate Delta 5 is okay for me.
The requested position is already assigned to another aircraft.
Okay guys, I just need to make you shake a little bit so I can go and check out what BeyondATC's got planned for me. Gate Alpha 8, nope.
Dynasty 21 Heavy, request taxi to the gate.
Dynasty 21 Heavy, welcome to Taoyuan Airport. Say parking or advise if need assignment.
Request gate Delta 7, Dynasty 21 Heavy.
Dynasty 21 Heavy, gate Delta 7 taxi via November 7, Papa Niner, Papa, Delta 7.
Okay, so we're going to get Delta 7 then. Perfect. Via November 7, Papa Niner, Papa, and then Delta 7. So we're going to go straight ahead into the ramp this way, and then we'll find Delta 7. I need to change GSX for Delta 7 as well. Hey GSX, let's go
Gate
change
Delta 7
this.
via November 7, Papa Niner, Papa, Delta 7, Dynasty 21 Heavy.
Gate Delta 7.
Is already assigned to another aircraft.
This is Papa Niner where we're coming up on. Once we are here, we'll just get the lights for us. You don't need.
Heavy contact Taipei Tower 129.3. Contact Tower 129.3, EVA 52 Heavy.
This is Alpha 7. We're looking for Delta 7. We can go ahead and start the APU. And we can turn off our TCAS array. We don't need resolutions anymore. I do hope I'm going the right way. Let's see if I can't zoom in. Delta 7, yeah, midway through the terminal building. Here we are, Delta 1. 3 minutes, almost 4 minutes. Let's shut down engine number 1. She's worked hard. Engine number 1 is off. Okay, so I'm gonna have to use GSX to clear this parking from AI. I don't know if that's a function that works with BeyondATC as well. Yes, free this parking from AI. I guess not. This airport is just super full. Well, that's our stand, but obviously it's taken. So all I can really think about doing is sharing. Sorry, bud. We're gonna be really friendly for today. If you're sensitive, I'd recommend looking away at this point. Alright, so his cockpit and my cockpit should match. Don't come to a stop, don't come to a stop, no. Okay, it seems I've come to a stop. We need to add a little bit more power to get me going again. There we go, we are moving once more. Few more meters. Aye. I need to find a way to decrease the sensitivity on my brakes, because it seems to be my Achilles heel. I'm inside another airplane with 4 meters to go. Let's give it a little bit of juice. Alright, close enough. We overshot by like 50, almost a meter, but that's okay, too far. Parking brakes are set. 1, 2. APU is running. We can go ahead and turn it all off. Oh, that was a long flight. Let's get the dome lights on. Where are the dome lights? Oh, and it's done. Rest of the shutdown stuff. Strobes can go off. Beacon lights can go off. Seatbelts can go off. And let's turn off all of these fuel pumps, which we won't need anymore. Wonderful. Checklist perhaps. Parking checklist. Parking brakes are chocks. Parking brakes are on. Wing lights need to go off. Engines off. Fuel pumps off. Wing lights. Wing lights are off. Checklist complete. Alright, I'm just curious how long this flight took. Let's go on to position and time. And it's gone. Oh no, here it is. Block time of 13 hours and 16 minutes for a flight time of 12:52, and we are in windy Taipei. Just give me a second, folks. I'll just get off VR and we'll go back to our original settings momentarily. Quite jittery, I understand.
Starwalker 746, Gate Bravo 1 taxi via November 7, Papa 9, Papa Echo, Quebec, Bravo 1. Gate Bravo 1 via November 7, Papa 9, Papa Echo, Quebec, Bravo 1, Starwalker 746.
Wow, okay. nice and come back. Hey Flaherty, nice of you to come back. But you catch me at the tail end of the day now. I mean, obviously I didn't manage to. We're making ourselves look like that. On the plus side, we did record this landing. So I'm gonna restart and
Ava 677 Heavy, request pushback.
how this landing worked out for us. AP still running?
Eva 677 Heavy, Taipei ground, pushback approved. Face southwest.
Let's get the belts on and let's get rid of the
Pushback approved. Face southwest. Ava 677 Heavy.
He made me fly. He made me fly a long ways away, so we're not exactly on the best terms. Good. So it turns out that this static aircraft might be a function of my settings somehow. Let's go ahead and check out. Yeah. It just keeps coming back. I don't know why. Aircraft traffic. Park aircraft. Oh, scheiße. Low, off, off. They need to be off in VR settings as well, which is probably why they kept coming back. And I can do that with Beyond, sorry, with the Alpha FPS not running, so this is quite messy. So we'll have to do that some other time. But that's what happened to me using for a month, right? Let's go ahead and get the names running again so we can watch that video. I will start with engine number 1, which spent a little bit of time cooling, as you can see. Alright, so I think we do like a little rundown on the arrival itself. Pretty decent arrival cost, I don't have to say about it. We did a full throttle, which I think would be unnecessary, and it was a lot of work for the VR headset having to stream in multiple airplanes while also streaming online and dealing with flying beyond ATC as well. So we had a little bit of difficulty within the headsets as well. All that being said, I think it did perform alright. Maybe not as well as it did in Seattle, but I need to figure out a way to get MSFS auto FPS from just in the capital area and everything. And number 1 is starting. Oh, that's really some. Yeah, okay.
Alright, so I think it'll be easier to hear me on these headsets now. So we've got engine number 1 started normal, and we'll go ahead and start engine number 2. And the reason we're doing that is just so we can watch that replay real quick. I think it's going to be an okay sort of replay. So this engine's going through cooling as well. Makes me wonder if maybe if I put both of them on while number 1 is starting up, would number 2 be able to start up? But I guess not, because it's using bleed air. Cooling 29.4, 14, 50.4 here. It's cooling what exactly? I think it's cooling the EGT to a sufficient, to cooling the engine itself to a sufficiently lower temperature before it inserts the fuel, so that uh, there's no exceedance. I think that's probably what it's doing at the moment. So let's see what number it goes down to, the EGT. Up below 158, then the fuel was inserted, and then woo, she lights off. Yeah, I am noticing your chats, Mia Willow. Thanks for following. That's pretty cool. Um, it's just that I don't have a chat window up on the left or right side. It's not my first gameplay, but it's just I'm still figuring out the ropes. I don't do this all that often, so I do apologize. But now that you're here, thanks for coming on. We've finished the flight, and at the moment we're just sort of looking at the. We're just gonna go ahead and watch the replay to see if that landing was good or not. And you're gonna have to take my word for it because I'm gonna use G's flight recorder. Ah, do you play any other games besides this one? Right. No, I only play this game. Something tells me you might be a bot, but I'm not entirely sure. Got raided by bots, by bots, by bots. All right. So I don't know what flap setting I had when I started the replay, but that should be all set up. Most important thing is engines are running. And let's go ahead and make it better time of day. Let's go ahead and change it to, I don't know, the afternoon, so we can see what it looked like, and we can play.
Speed.
So I think here I was already fully configured for the arrival. So let's also get the landing lights on, strobe lights on, taxi and takeoff lights on as well. So all the lights are up and ready. The configuration's coming through just now, and we can take a look from outside how the on how the arrival actually looked or felt. There you go. China Airlines Airbus A350-900. Am I excited about GTA 6? I mean, yeah. I think it's fun. Just gonna put myself up there instead, like a benevolent god. Nice. I also said I use G's. Okay, I can't seem to find my landing rate monitor. But there we are. It was quite a strong headwind, which obviously forced our ground speed fairly low. The second issue with the stronger headwind was speed instability, which would have been ordinarily compensated with more power. But I just felt like today the 350 wasn't doing it as well as I might have anticipated from the aircraft. But let's see how the landing turned out to be at the end. A little bit wobbly, if you can see the runway coming up. You'll see that we're rather slow as well. So somewhere over here I had a sink rate warning. It was just the one warning, so we decided to persist, so we decided to continue with the we decided to continue with the arrival instead of going around. And here you'll see me plant the airplane in. Whoops, slight float. And then I cut the power here to counter the float, let's say, and then just lean in on the angle. Touchdown. Speed brakes, reversers, and the nose comes down shortly after. And we make, I believe it was the first high speed or the second one. I do not recall. This doesn't actually exist in the Taipei airport. There seems to be a sim issue. And I believe we take the next exit November 7. All right, all things considered, I'm rather pleased with that landing. It went okay in VR, and I guess that's it. All right, folks. I want to thank you again for joining me on another. This one was a little bit lonelier than the last one that we did, but nevertheless, we hope you enjoyed the arrival into Taipei at night. We hope you thought the landing was good. I'd love to hear what you think about the landing. And that's it, folks. Thanks very much for joining me, and I'll see you again for the next stream. I think it's probably going to be on Saturday or Sunday. So until next time, auf Wiedersehen.